Shang-Chi spoiler talk! Yeah, hopefully you've had a chance to see Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings by now. Hopefully you're one of the ones who contributed to it doing really well in the box office, and therefore helped this movie come out 2 weeks sooner. Hey, that's awesome. But yeah, this is a spoiler-filled review, so spoiler warning. If you have not seen Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings yet, don't watch this video, unless you don't care. You know the drill. Alright, first of all, I'm going to give you a disclaimer. I'm going to apologize in advance for any mispronunciation I might do throughout this video. I don't know, I guess I'm not the best at Asian pronunciation in some cases. So just to be safe, I apologize in advance. Alright, now let's jump in because, like I said, this movie is pretty freaking cool. So the movie starts off with some backstory about, the 10 rings and Wenwu. We learn that Wenwu has used these 10 rings to live for 1,000 years. It's unclear as to how he found the 10 rings. It's like maybe he found them from a tomb, maybe he found them from somewhere else. I guess the writers couldn't decide. But okay, Wenwu has this 10 rings organization that he's had for 1,000 years now. To which I was like, okay, yeah, like I predicted and said in my videos about the trailers, Wenwu is Ra's al Ghul. Because it's the same thing. Ra's al Ghul has his League of Assassins or League of Shadows. He's had it for centuries and he wants someone to take his place. It's the same deal. So when I saw that in this movie, I was like, it's nothing I haven't seen before. But then, while on his journey to Ta Lo, this mythical city he heard about, he gets to the gate and he meets his future wife in this really cool fight. It was really well choreographed. I was like, that's some Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon shit. They're jumping all over the place. They're probably on wires. But the way they kind of look at each other during this fight, I was like, okay, they're probably gonna fall in love, which totally reminds me of the You Are My Quest thing from Kubo and the Two Strings. Because again, it's the same thing. Two enemies falling in love as they're fighting. But hey, I love that part of Kubo and the Two Strings. That was awesome. And so it was pretty cool here. Wenwu decided to give up his immortal quest to raise a family. That's cool. I like it. Like one thing that can distract him from his purpose. If only Ego had something like that. Oh wait, he did, but he killed her. Which at least shows here that Wenwu is a nicer person than Ego, so there is that. But speaking of Ta Lo, alright, Ta Lo is pretty much Asian Wakanda. It is. It's a city that's hidden from the rest of the world that has all sorts of amazing, fantastic stuff in it. Except instead of African culture, it's Asian culture this time. Yeah, it's the same thing. And Ta Lo is guarded by the Great Protector, this big dragon who is not Fin Fang Foom. It's not. It could have been Fin Fang Foom, but I guess Fin Fang Foom is more of a villain in the comics. So this Dweller in Darkness that they take out later, that could have been Fin Fang Foom, but it's not. I don't know why, but it's not. So alright, we meet Shang-Chi. He's living in San Francisco with his friend Katie. He's going under the name Sean, which I actually did like that joke that Katie brought up later. She was like, wow, that is not much of a name change. It's like having the name Michael and changing it to Michael. That was a good one. But he's found by Razor Fist, who is an assassin working for the Ten Rings, and that's where you get your big bus action scene, the first big action scene in this movie, with Shang-Chi anyway. And yeah, that was a pretty badass action scene. I did hate the fact that they kept cutting to that one guy recording it on his phone. I was like, why would you cut away from all the badass action? It was too cool, and this is not funny. But the bad guys end up stealing the pennant from Shang-Chi, and so it's like, alright, it's time to head off to Macau to find my sister. It's time to get wrapped back up in my destiny with my family. And again, Katie was like, I'm going with you, and I was like, why? I said that in my review. But alright, nevertheless, they head off to Macau, where they find the Golden Daggers Club. Now, alright, some pretty cool Easter eggs here. First off, in one of those cages, we see an extremist fighter from Iron Man 3. Yeah, this movie has a couple of throwbacks to Iron Man 3. And he's fighting a Black Widow that we saw in the Black Widow movie, so that's pretty cool. And then, of course, there's the Abomination versus Wong fight. And man, Abomination did look pretty cool. But I am still wondering, like, why is Abomination here? Like, I thought he was a prisoner. I guess we'll find out in the She-Hulk Disney Plus series. But here is where we meet Shang-Chi's sister, Xialing. Xialing? I'm gonna say Xialing. Again, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm sorry. But she is a pretty badass character. She kicked Shang-Chi's ass. I loved it when she kicked him in the face and it was all slow-mo like, ooh. I was like, ooh, okay, that had to hurt. That was like Creed and shit. But yeah, it turns out that postcard sent to Shang-Chi from his sister was just a ploy from Wenwu to get them together so they could be captured by the Ten Rings to bring them back to headquarters. Because Shang-Chi has a green pennant and his sister also has a green pennant, and Wenwu needs both for a reason I'll get into later. So now everyone is back at the Ten Rings headquarters. Shang-Chi, Wenwu, Xialing, Katie, they're all sitting at the table, and okay, I like the fact that Wenwu told the story of Iron Man 3, but from his perspective. He was like, oh yeah, some years ago, some American terrorists wanted to make a statement, so he used the name of the Ten Rings, but he didn't know my name, so he chose the name the Mandarin. I was like, oh, okay, there you go, there's your real explanation. Of course, Wenwu was talking about Aldrich Killian, Guy Pearce, the man who called himself the Mandarin. I am the Mandarin! I mean, yeah, there was also Ben Kingsley, Trevor Slattery, but I'll get to him later. But here's where we get to more backstory as to what Wenwu's cause is now, what he's trying to do. You see, like I said, he gave up his Ten Rings immortal quest when he raised a family, but then his wife was killed by a rival gang of his, the Iron Gang, and that set him back into mode. He's like, alright, back to the Ten Rings. So now, in present day, Wenwu claims to be hearing his wife calling out to him. He's like, I can hear her, she's calling out to me. We can be a family again. And she's calling me from Ta Lo, so that's why I need your penance, because they can put together a water map that'll show us the way there. That was a pretty cool scene though, where all the water comes out and forms a map on the ground. That was really cool visually. And now Wenwu thinks that his wife is being held prisoner there because of their relationship, which doesn't really make any sense, but you know, Wenwu's a villain. He's gonna see things the wrong way. And Shang-Chi tries to make him see this. He's like, look, I wish Mom were alive, but she's not. She's gone. You gotta get these delusions out of your head. We're not gonna help you invade a mythical city. And for saying that, Shang-Chi and his crew are thrown into cells. And here's where we get to the biggest spoiler in the movie, in my opinion. Ben Kingsley's return as Trevor Slattery. Yes, that's right. The dumbass actor from Iron Man 3 who posed as the Mandarin. He's back in this movie after 8 years. And I was like, oh my god. Why? Why is he in this movie? I didn't think any of his humor was funny throughout the entire movie. Just no. Although I will say he did contribute more to the plot than Katie did. Yeah, at least in my opinion. But he and his pet, which looks like something out of Gravity Falls or the Owl House, they lead Shang-Chi, Xialing, and Katie to Ta Lo before Wenwu gets there. So now we see Ta Lo in all its CG glory, but it does look really cool. It does. I'd love to hang out there with the nine-tailed foxes, otherwise known as Alolan Ninetails. Yeah. But here is where we meet Michelle Yeoh's character, Ying Nan, who is Shang-Chi and Xialing's aunt.
Hey, Auntie.
Yeah, she's their dead mom's sister. So she wears the same kind of robe, she has the same kind of airbending powers, which is really cool. It's never really explained how she learned how to airbend, but it looked cool. Michelle Yeoh's such a badass in this movie. She just is. But now we get some backstory on Ta Lo and its history with this Dweller in Darkness monster, this big dragon, which, okay, Michelle Yeoh describes this dragon as like this interdimensional thing, I guess? She's like, it came to your universe next looking for its next target or something. So I was like, okay, what? Does this creature know how to like go in between universes or dimensions or something? I just wonder if this has anything to do with the multiverse. You know, the general direction that the MCU appears to be going in? I don't know. But this Dweller in Darkness was locked up in this giant cave with the help of the Great Protector, and Michelle Yeoh explains that it is known to call out to people to try to trick them into freeing it so it can eat souls or something. But that's what's going on here. Wenwu is not actually hearing the calls of his wife, he's hearing the Dweller in Darkness playing a trick on him. You would think Wenwu would be a little smarter than that, being like, oh yeah, my wife's dead. This must be a trick. Shang-Chi even tries to explain, yeah, this is a monster doing a trick. This is not your wife. But I don't know, I guess Wenwu is deranged. So now the Ten Rings are on their way to Ta Lo. They're gonna invade. Wenwu's gonna ask them to release his wife. And if they don't, they're gonna burn the city to the ground. And so here's where the big climactic war is gonna take place. So let's get ready for war. I love the fact that both Shang-Chi and Xialing receive badass outfits made from dragon scales. I mean, I already thought that outfit looked pretty cool, but the fact that it's made from dragon scales makes it so much more badass. It's like part armor, part mithril. How is that not awesome? Yeah, good luck slicing through that. But then we get to Katie's archery training, which, okay, what, they're preparing for 3 days? You mean to tell me that Katie is gonna go from complete novice to complete badass archer in 3 days? Yeah, bullshit. That's completely unrealistic. Come on, it takes people years to become completely skilled archers, and Katie hits a bullseye target within 3 days? Yeah, no. Not buying it. But I digress, we're here at the battle now, and some pretty freaking sweet things happen throughout this war. Starting with that badass dragon, the Great Protector. Yeah, just because I've seen dragons before in other movies and stuff, doesn't mean I'm not gonna think they're awesome in new movies, because the Great Protector was completely awesome. Shang-Chi comes out of the water on its back. I was like, this is like Aquaman on the Carathan in his movie. It was sweet. Not as awesome as that moment in Aquaman, but still pretty cool. And so when Shang-Chi is fighting his father at the gate, I did notice, yeah, why are the rings turning gold in Shang-Chi's possession? Whereas in Wenwu's possession, they're blue. We do kind of learn the reason why in the mid-credit scene. I'll get to that. But still, it is a question. I'm like, are the rings alive or something? Do they have a will of their own? Kind of sounds like another ring I know, just saying. They're alien. I know that much by now. They have to be. But when that Dweller in Darkness breaks loose, Wenwu's like, ah, shit. Damn it, Shang-Chi, you were right. Yeah, told you so, Dad. And this is where Wenwu gives his life. This is actually great. He realizes his mistake, and he's like, all right, now I gotta pay the price. I'm gonna save my son. I'm gonna give him the 10 rings. Yeah, they're his now. And maybe he can lead the organization into a better future. All right, I'm out. That was good shit right there. That is a good, I'd say redemption arc for Wenwu, but it didn't feel like amazing redemption like Darth Vader levels, but it was good. It was solid. And then there's the moment where the Dweller is about to suck out the soul of the Great Protector, and it does look really dire there for a minute. I'll give this movie that. Like, it looks like Xialing might die, and you see like the soul of the Great Protector lifting out of it, kind of like Sirius Black's in Prisoner of Azkaban. But then Katie unrealistically makes the shot. She shoots an arrow at the Dweller in Darkness's throat, and it hits it dead on, and I was like, yeah, 3 days of training. Uh-huh, sure. No. And really, that's like the one useful thing she did in the entire movie. Think about it, it is. It's the one thing I say she does in my review, and I'm like, okay, that shot to the throat could have been done by someone else, could have been done by that instructor guy. That would have made more sense since he's more experienced. Would have made him a badass and would have defeated any purpose of Awkwafina being in this movie at all. Yeah, sorry Awkwafina, but I have spoken. But then Shang-Chi takes this thing out. Dude, this is epic. This is awesome. He's all going around this big monster. The CG looks really cool. Then he's all Kamehameha. It's epic. After seeing that for the first time, I was like, okay, that's what we call awesome. And so the Dweller in Darkness is defeated. I don't know if it's dead, but it's defeated for now. So victory! And so there's peace in Ta Lo. Shang-Chi has the 10 rings now. He and Katie go back to San Francisco while Xialing goes back to the 10 rings headquarters. I'll get to her in a minute. But here's where we get to the epilogue / the mid-credits scene. Cause back in San Francisco, Shang-Chi and Katie are found by Wong. As in, yeah, the sorcerer Wong. And he's like, come with me. And so now here in the mid-credits scene, they're studying the 10 rings. You see Wong with like a mystical projection of them. And he's studying them. He's looking at them and then he looks to his left and he's like, what do you think? And you see Carol Danvers and Bruce Banner. All right, Bruce Banner is back in his human form. Really? After Avengers Endgame, I thought he and the Hulk had like merged into one. You remember. Now he's back in his human form. I don't know. I guess he's gonna be different in like everything he's in now. I don't know. I guess we'll see him again in She-Hulk and we'll see where he is in his life. But yeah, Carol Danvers is there too, but she gets a message. She's like, ooh, I gotta take this. All right, good luck, guys. Which does lead me to think that that message she got probably will lead into the Marvels, which I am pretty excited for. I'm not gonna lie. But before she goes, she's like, ooh, the rings are sending out a beacon. To which I was like, what? A beacon? What are they signaling to? Who are they calling? Interesting. I don't know. I don't know if this is gonna lead into the next Shang-Chi movie or whatever else. I have no idea, but it's intriguing as hell. And so Shang-Chi and Katie are welcomed to the circus, aka what's left of the Avengers, I presume. Their lives are never gonna be the same again. So cool, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where we see Shang-Chi next, wherever that may be. Meanwhile, in the post-credits scene, we see Xialing. She's back at Ten Rings headquarters, and instead of dismantling it as she said she was going to, she has instead taken over the organization. And it looks like she's merging her Golden Daggers Fight Club with it somehow. And then on the screen it says the 10 rings will return. And I was like, okay, so this might be what the next Shang-Chi movie is about. Of course, it hasn't been announced yet, but I'm sure it's gonna happen. It's not like this is the only solo movie Shang-Chi's gonna get. We'll see another one soon enough. I just hope it doesn't take 5+ years like it did for Doctor Strange. But yeah, what is Xialing gonna do with the 10 rings now? What's her goal? Is she gonna be a villain? That could be interesting. I don't know. I guess only time will tell. But in conclusion, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the 10 Rings, pretty freaking cool movie. I enjoyed it. Like I said, nothing really blew me away about it, but it was still super fun to watch. It is better the second time because, you know, I'm not critiquing it as I'm watching it. I'm just enjoying it. I'm looking forward to seeing these characters again. Shang-Chi, Xialing, hopefully Michelle Yeoh, and hopefully Katie will be more important to the plot next time. That would be cool. But until then, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the 10 Rings, what are your theories from those mid and post-credit scenes? What do you think they're gonna lead into? I'm curious to know. So whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe.